Hi everybody, welcome back. 6th of April 2017. I'm almost 5 weeks away from stepping on the stage for my very next fitness model competition. I can't believe it. It's almost 4 weeks actually from stepping on the stage. I stepped on the stage on the 7th of May 2017. And I want to talk about how I'm not strictly sticking to my meal plan. Now, if you followed each of these videos through following my journey to get ready for the world titles, and the world titles for the fitness model competition in Thailand in June, you'll see that I actually had a few slip-ups along the way. I had some ice cream. Remember that? If you don't remember that, go and check that video out. I just went nuts on ice cream one day and went crazy on the rice cakes. And I went and got the rice cakes and the jam. Go and check it out. So there was that video and the ice cream thing. So I've slipped up a few times because the meal plan is just so strict. And what I'll do, I've got the meal plan in front of me, but I'll flash it up on your screen so you can read it as I follow it through. But in general, I've been pretty good with the meal plan and I'm fairly consistent, but to be really honest and brutally honest with you, the meal plan is really inflexible. And so, when I talk about meal planning, generally speaking, you can make a meal plan really flexible if you're just dieting to lose some weight and just get really lean. But when you're getting ready for a fitness model competition, especially if you're 5 weeks out, the margin for error gets smaller and smaller. And so it becomes more imperative to not only eat really simply, because it's easy to manage a meal plan when you eat really simple food, and it's easy to weigh, it's easy to portion control, it's easy to put in containers. People go, well, I want a fancy recipe. Well, good luck with fancy recipes leading up to your competition, because you'll spend all of your time in the kitchen doing out fancy recipes. So what you see on your screen right now, and I'll flash it up now so you can see it, we'll go along together. This is what I was given by my coach, and it's strict. As you can see, everything's weighed and portion controlled and everything else. But that's not the challenge. For me, the biggest challenge with this meal plan is that I haven't recently had, if we start at the very top, upon waking up, I haven't had apple cider vinegar, ACV, at the very top there. I just haven't had that 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I just haven't had it. And I haven't had it for a number of weeks, actually, because sometimes I go through phases. I have it sometimes, and then for weeks I don't have it. And then, the first meal of the day is 150 grams of red meat and 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. Now, here's the honest truth. There's actually really good anecdotal reports that having meat and oil first thing when you wake up in the morning actually is a great way of starting your day. And so for me, it was difficult at first because I used to wake up and have oats and carbs. And when I did that switch to having meat and nuts, if you remember from my first ever fitness model competition, and I was like, this is crazy, meat and nuts. How can anyone have meat and nuts? And so I'd wake up in the morning and have meat and nuts. Now it's meat and coconut oil. And so, that having food, having meat and nuts, having protein and fat together first thing in the morning, many people report that it will completely set their day up by having that as breakfast first thing in the morning, as opposed to having Wheat Bix or cereal or some kind of carb-based breakfast where you'll get this immediate hit, because most cereals contain a lot of sugar, a lot of refined sugar. So you get this quick hit of energy when you wake up, have breakfast. But when you have meat and nuts, you have protein and carb. You've got so essentially you've got fat, which, not protein and carb, protein and fat, which takes longer to absorb into the body. And so you get that slow release of energy throughout the day. And so a lot of people report, and I can now say this myself, that when you have meat and nuts or meat and coconut oil first thing in the morning, you'll have a more consistent energy supply throughout the day. Now, I'm all about science. If you know any of my work and my videos, and it's very hard to find any specific science on that. However, there is some relationship there with serotonin, which is the happy chemicals in your brain, right? And so, try it out. I suggest you try it out and let me know what you think. Give it 2 weeks, because at first it's going to be weird and it's going to be awkward, but try it for 2 weeks and then make a decision whether you're going to continue with that. Now, as part of my meal plan, I have no problem sticking to meat and nuts or meat and coconut oil first thing in the morning. So it's 150 grams of red meat or salmon with 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. Now, what I've been not doing is I'll wake up at 5:30, 5:45, 6 in the morning. And because, if you're having a whole food form of protein, it takes 1 to 2 hours for the amino acids to be digested out of that protein from red meat, from chicken, from salmon, from turkey, for that to be in your bloodstream for your body to then use it to start repairing muscle tissue as you break it down when you go to the gym and do a weightlifting session. The challenge is that if I'm waking up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning already, and then having meat and nuts and then going straight to the gym, I don't have that bandwidth available to me, allowing my body to get access to those amino acids to then start rebuilding muscle. Does that make sense? It would mean I'd have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to have meat and nuts, then go back to sleep for 2 hours. So I was like, I'm not doing that. And my coach wanted me to do that because I did suggest, I asked about it and she said, yeah, just wake up a couple hours early. I was like, well, if I'm doing weight training in the morning, and I usually do, right now I'm doing fasted cardio first thing in the morning. That's different. I can wake up, do my fasted cardio, then I come back and then I have my meat and nuts. But if I'm doing a weightlifting session in the morning, then I need some kind of protein / amino acids in my bloodstream so that I'm not going to have this great catabolic breakdown of muscle while I'm training. So I've gone off the plan with that respect by having branched chain amino acids, by having BCAAs. So I'll wake up in the morning, 5:30, 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'll have a serving of BCAAs. When you have branched chain amino acids, the ones that I take have no calories in them. And in addition, they take about 20 to 25 minutes to absorb into your bloodstream and be uptaked by your muscles in your body. So by the time I take that and then get to the gym and start training, I've got the amino acids in my bloodstream that's going to preserve my muscles and stop them from breaking down at an accelerated rate. And there's good science behind BCAAs, absorption rate, uptake rate, and also preserving muscle whilst in a calorie deficit and whilst training fasted. I know that's a lot of information I've just given you, but I've done a lot of research on branched chain amino acids and when the best time to take them is before, during, or after your workout. That's another video, so stay tuned for that. But I am taking it, and it's not on the meal plan, first thing upon waking up, and then after 20 minutes, I'm in the gym training, and the BCAAs are working away at preserving muscle and so forth. And then when I come back from the gym, I'll then have the 150, sometimes 170 grams of meat. And it's not always red meat, sometimes it's chicken, but it does say red meat on the plan. And 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, I'll usually have that as well. So I'm usually consistent. So that aspect of the meal plan, I'm not entirely consistent with. I just have to bend and buckle it around my circumstance. I don't want to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to have red meat and nuts or red meat and coconut oil. So it's best if I sleep that extra couple hours, wake up at 6:30 or 6, and then have my branched chain amino acids. By the time I get to the gym, 20 minutes later, I'm ready to rock and roll. So that's how I've modified it. So yeah, that's not on the plan. And the other thing that I haven't been doing strictly, if you look at that meal plan, this is what they call a carb cycling meal plan. So at the very top, you've got the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So there's 7 days in those 4 columns. And you'll see at the very top, moderate, 0, high, and low. So that just means we're talking about carbohydrates in this respect. So we're talking about Saturday and Sunday in the middle of the page are 0 carb days. And if you quickly scroll down with your eyes down that column, you'll see that it's, meat and oil upon waking up. Have a training session, 2 hours, remember, 1 to 2 hours. Have your meat, nuts, or meat and oil. Then 2 hours, go training, finish your training session. Then have your whey protein, so 40 grams of whey protein post-workout. So there's no carb post-workout on the 0 carb days. And then continue on, 150 grams of white fish with unlimited green veggies. Now the reason why it's unlimited is because, it's very hard to calorie yourself out by having unlimited vegetables, because veggies are so filling that, 2 or 3 or 4 handfuls of veggies is like 150 calories. And most people are full when they have that. So there's no need, and I usually suggest to people when they're first starting out to weigh and measure everything, because it gets you into the mindset of weighing and measuring everything. But when you get to a point where you know your way around macros and numbers and that kind of thing, veggies are like incidentals that you can have and not worry about micromanaging too much. So when it says unlimited green vegetables, it really does mean as many vegetables or as few vegetables as I feel like it. So if I'm really hungry, I might have 3 handfuls. If I'm not very hungry, then I'll still have my 150 grams of meat of some sort with 1 handful of veggies, 2 handful of veggies, 3 handful of veggies, whatever. So that's what it means by unlimited green veggies. Otherwise, the protein component of that meal plan is weighed out. So the white fish, that goes on the scales, 150 grams. Sometimes I have 200 grams of white fish because I love seafood. So sometimes I have an extra 50 gram serving of white fish. And then in the evening, chicken or turkey, I usually go with chicken. And sometimes I get sick of having chicken or turkey at night, and I'll just have tuna out of a can. That's right, I'll just have this, like basically tuna spring water, right? And at other times, my phone's ringing, I apologize. Other times, I'll actually get a flavored tuna, this one has oil in it, and then I'll drain the heck out of it so that it has a little bit of oil remaining. So it has a little bit of flavor, but it does have more calories because it does have the oil immersed inside the tuna. And but I'll drain it like crazy, and so that I have that tuna and I have a little bit of that Italian taste, oily taste to it, right? So it does come at a calorie cost, but then what I do is I just read the nutrition panel and I just see exactly what I'm getting in terms of protein, fat, and so forth. But I don't do this very often. It's only when I get sick of literally every single day, 150, 200 grams of chicken or turkey, 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 chicken or turkey. And then I'm like, fuck this, I'm just gonna have something completely different. I'm just gonna have fucking tuna out of a can. I don't have to cook it. I don't have to, I look at the label and I go, yep, 36 grams of protein. Yep, 150 grams of chicken is about 30 grams of protein. So that's a good swap. How much fat do we have? 5.3, so it's about 10 grams. Have a look at this. Oh, on the meal plan it says 20 grams of organic butter. So what I'll do is I'll have a full can of this. I won't even drain it, but I won't even have the 20 grams of butter on the meal plan. So you can see how you can do, I sometimes do simple swaps like this. 150 grams of chicken or turkey is about 30 grams of protein. On the label here, 18 grams per serving. There's 2 servings per package. So that's 36 grams of protein. So that's almost an even swap for protein, just a different source, not from chicken turkey. It's coming from tuna. And again, the fat, 20 grams of organic butter. Again, fat, 5.3 grams per serving, which is 10.6 grams per package, which is half what's on my meal plan. So yeah, 20 grams versus 10. So, there are times where I just don't completely follow the meal plan verbatim, and it's because it does get monotonous at times, so that's why. And other than that, you'll see Monday's a high carb day, sweet potato all the way down the page. To be honest with you, there are times where I don't even have all that sweet potato. I might even skip 300 grams. I might even have an extra 200 grams. Like, it really depends how I feel. And I know that's not how it should be, but you know, there's a psychology to this as well. And sometimes it's very hard to, like, in your mind, think that you need to have all of that sweet potato when you should, but I feel I don't, and then I don't have another, I just cut out 300 grams for that entire list, but I don't always do that. So anyway, it's hard at times, and I do improvise a little bit at times, especially if I'm going on a date, right, where I have to take tuna with me, for example, on the road, or take a protein shake with me on the road. And then we move over to Tuesday, Thursday, we've got our low carb day of Tuesday, Thursday. And again, it's red meat in the morning, coconut oil. The rice cakes and the jam was something that I overindulged in last week actually. And I spoke to my coach, I said, you need to take the rice cakes and the jam out of the meal plan because that's one switch, that's my weakness. And so now the Vitago has been put back in. So as you see on your screen, I don't have the rice cakes and the jam anymore, I'll have the Vitago instead. That's pretty much it. The meal plan is pretty much consistent from one day to the next. So I stick to it mostly, but there are times where I swap it, change things. I do quick swaps, and I try and balance the macros out, especially if I'm going on a date, going out somewhere, which doesn't happen very often. And that's it. But I'm here to tell you the honest truth that it doesn't matter if you can't completely always stick to a meal plan, because even at my level, in guys that I compete with, I don't care what they say, they don't fucking stick to the meal plan all the time. You know, they just don't. That's the reality. You might have an energy drink, or you might have, a few cups of coffee more than what you should, or you might have a Quest bar or two. Like today, I had a Quest bar. Quest bars are not on this meal plan, but I felt like a Quest bar. But it just means that I have to take out 20 grams of protein from somewhere on my meal plan for that particular day. So I balance it out. So I like flexible dieting, as you can tell. So I hope this is helpful. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you in another video. Stay tuned for more.